Hi, welcome back to Mac Talks Racing, where I talk about anything racing, but mostly Formula One. We're gonna do our Japan recap and my Bahrain prediction since it is back-to-back race weekends. I'm just gonna recap Japan and then we'll get to how my predictions went because they did not go good. I thought it was quite a boring race. It was at midnight for me and I've seen the consensus that it was. I think the only thing that kept me entertained was the fact that I had friends over and I was teaching them about Formula One. Literally, I think the only entertaining parts for me were Albon on the radio and the pit lane situation with Max and Lando. I think Suzuka is turning into Monaco in a way of the cars are too big for the track, and at this point it's really hard to overtake. It's not even a street circuit like Monaco is, so I don't understand, but like, widen the track, make the cars smaller, do what we need to do. But you know, I'm never gonna like not watch a Formula One race. People complain about, you know, boring races and we should get rid of them off the calendar. I think we should either get smaller cars or get bigger tracks. Monaco obviously is harder because it's a street circuit. Suzuka though, I feel like we could make a wider track. We have lots of runoff areas as seen in Jack Doohan's crash. Sassy Albon, I really don't know what was going on with Williams. He did good. He's got points. He's gotten points every weekend that they've raced. So I'm not a Williams fan, so I don't track like what's going on with them, but his radios were very entertaining to listen to. And I'm glad that he is standing up for himself because I feel like he's labeled as a nice guy. I think that McLaren has another two first driver issues. They had this last year, they're having it again this year. And now that both of their drivers are in the title fight, it's making it worse. So they need to figure out who they're going to prioritize. Logistically, they should prioritize Lando. He's been there longer. But, you know, Oscar is almost matching Lando. So I get why they haven't prioritized, but they need to. They're going to have issues like this every single race weekend if they don't figure out a first driver. My theory is that if they don't find a first driver after this triple header, they will not win WDC. And I know that's kind of early to determine they won't win WDC, but if they don't figure it out after the first, 6 races, they're gonna have the issue all season long. I'm sorry. And you know, I know Oscar just re-signed with them for a definite amount of time, but you gotta figure this out. You gotta figure this out like soon. You cannot be the top team, you cannot be the fastest team, and not prioritize a driver. Red Bull prioritized Max Verstappen, he won the WDC. Every year, Mercedes won a WDC. After 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, Mercedes was prioritizing Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas was the second driver. You need a good second driver to win WDC. And like, the second driver can still win races, but they are not the main driver. Y'all know what I'm saying. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how my Japan predictions went, because I predicted almost nothing right. I said, oh, for pole, I think it's going to be Lando. They should be getting pole every single weekend, unless there's something out of their control. Max Verstappen got pole, but I predicted a Lando Norris pole position. He did not get that. I think George Russell will end up winning. He was behind Ferrari. Well, not behind Ferrari. Behind Charles Leclerc. Podium, I will say, is George Russell, obviously. P2, Oscar Piastri. P3, Max Verstappen. Lando is nowhere on there. But I have realized whichever driver I put in third for my podium prediction has won the race. Because in Australia, I predicted Lando would get third. Podium was Lando, Oscar. I should not be a betting woman. Reigns, there's going to be 4 DNFs. And if it's a dry race, I think there will be one. I do think it will be rainy. I predicted it would be raining. It was not raining. It rained before? Did it rain before? I know they watered the grass before. I predicted 4 DNFs if it was raining, 1 DNF if it didn't. No one DNF'd. This is the first session that we've had no one DNF. Driver of the day, hometown boy Yuki Tsunoda. This is one thing I did get right. Most driver of the days, if they're racing at someone's home race, and it's only one driver's home race, you know, usually people get driver of the day for their home race. So Ferrari will have the fastest pit stop. Fastest pit stop, I went safe, went for Ferrari. I was right. So right that the FIA is now investigating Ferrari's pit stops. Fastest lap will be a McLaren. I'm not sure which one though. And then fastest lap, I got this totally wrong. I totally discounted Kimi Antonelli and I went for a McLaren driver. Oh, he set so many records. Youngest driver to ever lead a race. Youngest driver to set like a fastest lap, and youngest driver to like set fastest like a circuit record. Because he now has a circuit record for Suzuka. So stop discounting it. Storylines going into the Bahrain weekend. We have, I think, 6 rookie FP1 sessions. So we'll see how that happens. Haas has now taken one of Alpine's reserve drivers. Ferrari's bringing a new floor upgrade to Bahrain. Leclerc seems really happy about, so my predictions might make sense. This has really been a qualifying championship so far. Every driver that started on pole has won the race. McLaren has yet to find a first driver. Those are your storylines for the Bahrain weekend. Here are my Bahrain GP predictions. I'm going to start with my random. This is not to do with any positions, any fastest, anything, just straight random. Yuki will get points. Will it be a lot? I don't know, but Yuki will get points. Everyone wants to discount him because he got, what was it, 12th in Japan? Again, Japan, super hard to overtake with these cars. Bahrain will be fine. I think we will have another papaya rules McLaren situation where they're not prioritizing a driver, or they're prioritizing a driver, but they don't want to admit that they're prioritizing a driver. Like I said, if they don't get it together after this triple header, they will not win WDC. How do I say this? I don't think you should have to need team orders to overtake, like Oscar was asking for, but on a track like Suzuka, where I have said like a bajillion times this video, it is impossible to overtake, and you have your driver in third that's faster than the driver in second, you don't want to be wasting the tires on the driver in third, you know. I think it calls for it sometimes, okay? But on like specific tracks, any small track that it's notoriously hard to overtake on, I think if you're trying to maximize points for the constructor's title and you think the driver in third can catch up to the driver in first, I don't know. This is not my team, not my monkeys, not my circus. That was a lot of drama happening online. And then my last random prediction is Albon will not score points this weekend, but he will outdo Carlos Sainz. Why do I think he won't score points? Because he's scored points every single weekend so far, because he's gotten P5, P7, P9. What does that leave for next? P11. I see patterns. I do think he will outdo Carlos, so because Carlos is still adapting to the car, which again, not my circuits, not my monkeys. I don't really care. Ferrari's tied with them in the constructors. So as long as they don't get points this weekend. Okay, DNS. 2, the weather, I think they're predicting it to be dry. Driver of the day, this is a random like throw out. I think Lewis Hamilton. I really have no idea for driver of the day. Fastest pit stop, again, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go Ferrari. They've had the fastest pit stop all 3 rounds, so I'm gonna go for them again. Fastest lap, I've learned not to rule out Kimi Antonelli, so I will throw him in the ring, but I also would not be surprised if it was Oscar Piastri. Just again, the McLaren is the fastest car on the grid. I don't want to hear any arguments. Pole sitter, your pole sitter will be George Russell. 3 different pole sitters, 3 different winners. I think it's George's turn. He has done a phenomenal job so far this season, so I don't think we should discount him. Podium, P1 George Russell, obviously. P2 Lando Norris. P3 Charles Leclerc. Again, they're bringing that new floor upgrade. He seems to be excited. He is so good around Bahrain. He got P4 last weekend. I think we can do it, okay? Obviously, I said P1 George Russell. So those were my Bahrain Grand Prix predictions. Let me know what yours are. Comment them down below. Like this video. Subscribe for more very inaccurate predictions. And I will see you next week after for my Bahrain recap and my Saudi Arabia predictions. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.